and welcome to the Glacially Musical Pouredcast. It is beer, metal, and swearing. Thank you for joining us this week for Def Leppard number 3, Pyromania, the biggest, most badass hit they've had yet. Till next week. Of course, I am Nick Cameron, also of Glacially Musical. I'm joined by my good friend, my co-host, my corn-loving Sharknado, Keefy Chakas. How we doing today, buddy?
NATO.
I
I'm
did not prepare at all. I
a
completely forgot to prepare.
corn loving Sharknado. All right. I'm good. How are you, my friend?
Tired. It is a busy week. We are gearing up for a yard sale on Saturday. We've been gearing up for this yard sale for quite some time, and oh, Jesus H. Christ. So here's how we do this if you are new. We greet, we do a beer check, we do a vinyl check, news of the day, meat of the episode. So we have a drink, we get an appetizer, we have a salad, then we do the main course. Main course this week, again, Def Leppard, Pyromania. And for me, Pyromania is where I got on board. So get ready to hear some 8-year-old Nick talking his talks. Today, new beer for the podcast. I have a Great Lakes Brewing Edmund Fitzgerald Porter. If you are familiar with Great Lakes Brewing, they only distribute around the Great Lakes. If you are familiar with American geography, St. Louis is not anywhere near a Great Lake. One of my coworkers from Chicago was kind enough to bring me a 6-pack of it today. So, is that a good pop?
It's a very good pop.
Oh, nice. I got 2 glasses because my other beer is not a porter.
Oh, that's dark.
It's a bit of a heavy porter as well. This is a 6% porter. A porter is typically a working man's beer at about 3.5 to 4.5% in the old country.
Fascinating, Captain. I have no beer and a beer revelation to share.
Oh,
So
no.
I have no beer tonight. I hope that that's bad enough, but then I'm going to put myself in fully bad odor with our audience. I have 2 seltzers, but no beer. And I'm
Ooh.
thinking of doing a dry June. So you might be shouldering the beer load in
I
June.
can drink more.
I'm contemplating not drinking it all in June. No reason why, just contemplating a dry month. I am technically starting a new diet where I'm not supposed to have any beer, but I think I'm gonna just eschew the beer this week and have one next week. So no beer today.
I understand.
Polar seltzer though, I might get this polar bear tattooed on me someday. It's definitely crossed my mind. 10 or 20.
We can still do a cheers with whatever the hell that is. So,
Cheers. This is a raspberry lime polar seltzer. I also have a Waterloo grape.
oh, Jesus H. Monkey Butlers. The last time I was in Ohio, which is where they're based out of, they're based in Cleveland, was a work function, and it is the work function where I had the most to drink at because the problem was drinks were free, and we just didn't stop drinking as a group. So I ended up trying every Great Lakes beer that night in one night at the first bar. Then there was the whiskey later, but that's besides the point. If you don't mind, I'm going to hit my vinyl check. A couple oldies but goodies this week. First one is Rolling Stones Tattoo You. This is got this on the cheap, about $5. I got one for me, one for the kid. One was $3, one was $5. The cloven hoof and the high heel. Don't understand it. What makes this one special for me is when I came of age as a human being who noticed that there was a world outside of my own arse, ergo gaining consciousness and self. There was a God, my nose has not run all day. Now I'm sniffy. I'm sorry. So there was a KC95 ad campaign where it was a dude who was a mild mannered dude. And whenever he got home, the first thing he would do when he got home is he would go into his room, his sitting room, as it were. He would lock the doors and he would turn on KC95, and inevitably they were playing Start Me Up. And then when it got to the climax in the commercial, he would then grab his shirt, rip it open to reveal a sweet meat television or sweet meat KC95 shirt. I'm not a big fan of Start Me Up, but I just remember those commercials so well.
Quite a story.
The other one, and I've got no serious attachment to this one, Grand Funk Survival. Got this one for, I think, $7. It was on sale. Wife and I are going to see Grand Funk in a couple of months, so I want to know more about Grand Funk because I really don't know that much. That's all I got this week.
We really ought to do a Grand Funk run at some point.
We mentioned that. Let's
We
do it after
Yeah, some other time.
I go to the show.
Oh, after. Okay. So summertime. I have the one vinyl to check, and it's a fun one today. I don't have enough fun records in my life, so making sure there is some insert or something in here. Have you ever watched the TV program Parks and Rec, starring
not.
Amy Poehler and Rob Lowe and
I have watched so
Chris
little
Pratt?
network television, and I keep meaning to watch that one because I love all those people.
Delicious Rashida Jones and others. So this is the fictional band from the TV show Parks and Rec, MouseRat, the awesome album.
Nice.
None of this will land with you because you have not seen the show, but for people who have, 5,000 Candles in the Wind, The Pit, Sex Hair, Catch Your Dream, featuring Duke Silver. If you know who that is, raise your hands. Two Birds Holding Hands, and Song, Way You Look Tonight, and a bunch of others. So just pretty great. And it is on this was from the Brooklyn Vegan record store online, which I like. It does come with this very fun poster insert.
Nice. I do like that. I hope everybody who gets this joke is really enjoying it.
I hope so. It's got like the lyrics, which are fully unnecessary for this album. And the fancy vinyl. Of course, I like my fancy vinyls just so. So let's see the MouseRat swirly.
Oh, it's one of those.
It's one of those. So it is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for comedy purposes. It's amusing. So that is my vinyl check.
Appreciate that. Been watching a lot of YouTube again. Back to some of the old channels we watched during the pandemic, and came back on the 33 RPM channel by Frank Landry, a good Canadian up there in Winnipeg. And he was talking about how he's not a big, he likes black. He's not a big deal. And they're not colored ones. And I'm like, bro, they sound the same and they look cool. So I'm always down for, except I meant to get a colored one for, 72 Seasons and I screwed up.
Oh, well. You still can.
Yeah, I'm not buying a second one.
And then I told you that mine are slightly different. I don't know if it's an error because shouldn't they all be identical?
No.
My side A has a slightly green tint, and my side B is the true yellow splatter.
Nope, they will all be. Every single one of them will be different, slightly different.
Okay, I learned something today.
If you go back to the how vinyl is made, it's But
shirt
check.
News?
I am rocking my new shirt today. My Mr. Flibble is very cross. Mr. Flibble from Red Dwarf. That is the episode where Rimmer caught a disease and he was dressing in a red checked gingham dress with a penguin puppet who he then used to shoot lasers out of his eyes. Mr. Flibble.
Shout out to my sister from another Mr. Alita, who turned me on to Red Dwarf one time when I was staying in her house for a few weeks.
I just turned on PBS one day and it was there, and I turned it on to Lister saying, "What have you done? You've given me breasts. I'm not supposed to have breasts." That is my first that was my first impression.
Interesting. I am wearing my Dirk Manning Kickstarter shirt. So shout out to comics writer and all around great metalhead Dirk Manning.
News of the day. I'm going to drop one super fast one, and then I'm going to walk on. Paul Stanley and Dee Snider, who both claim to be LGBTQIA plus yada 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 allies, have really stepped in it on the trans debate by being fully transphobic. And I use that in exactly the right word because they said some stuff that was very fearful of the idea of what being trans means. No child is being pushed into a transgender identity by their parents. It's just absolutely ridiculous. You guys are old. Go away. Shut up.
No notes. How dumb of them. Two guys who spent their entire careers going against convention by dressing and acting effeminate as a convention busting thing that plays on sexuality. To be so close-minded is horrible and disappointing. to no end. And I love D. I have loved Kiss, even though they say cringy, dumb shit all the time. Boomers, shut up. And Paul volunteered this information just
Yeah,
for
he
context.
just came out with it.
Here's my take on something no one asked for. And then D is like clapping, good job in the comments. So, like, both of you guys,
shut up
and go away. On to some happier news and better
happy
things.
news.
I will just also say, to quote the popular picture going around the internet, stop messing with my trans homies, or I'm going to identify as a problem for you.
Ooh, I like
so really quick, you've been listening to the pod. We have done a lot of Metallica episodes, Metallica Vinyl Club, 72 Seasons review and unboxing, Metallica setlist review last week. So that was night one.
The train ain't slowing down.
The train will not getting off it. Let us, and like most Metallica fans, not getting off at all. Let's talk about night 2 of the M72 tour in Amsterdam. Would you want to do the exact same format? I read the song title, you comment?
Yes.
So Nick was giving me a hard time about mentioning Ecstasy of Gold. They also had It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll on tape before Ecstasy of Gold. This show did not the first show. Opening song, Call of Cthulhu. So
you know what? Yeah, again, same issue I have with Orion. Love the song, but what are we doing here? Let's go ahead and start this sucker off with an 8.5 minute instrumental.
Well, maybe it's
a super low energy instrumental.
Maybe it's to please themselves.
Maybe they're just old and tired and they need something long. And slow.
Whoa. Number 2, and my favorite Metallica song ever, Creeping Death.
Great song. That is a classic early in the set song for Metallica. I believe they played it second in the set on the Black Album tour, the Wherever I May Roam tour.
Yeah. Number 3, a bit of a surprise, Leppard Messiah.
Oh, now we are talking, busting out some old-timey goodness. Cannot wait to hear the Bob Trujillo take on that bass fill, because I've never heard Bob play it.
Yeah, that's it. I don't believe he goes by Bob. I think it's Robert.
Yeah, I know. I realized after I said it twice.
Like, no one calls him Bob. Bobby De
Lo
Niro
siento,
goes by
señor
Bob.
Trujillo. Espero que tú sabes que puedo pronunciar tu nombre correcto exactamente. Lo siento, mi amigo.
You can stop now.
Okay.
Number 4, Until It Sleeps. First time played since November 3rd, 2008. 15 years they hadn't played that song. At all.
I like that it's new. I like that it's not Enter Sandman. But I would have liked it better if it were Broken, Beat, and Scarred.
Okay.
Continue.
First time in front of a live audience. Number 5, 72 Seasons.
Nice.
Knew that
Very nice.
Do that. Back-to-back new songs. If Darkness Had a Sun, which we were all waiting for, this is going to clearly be the new song highlight of the live set.
That song is a thumper, and honestly, I need to listen to 72 Seasons about 38 to 40 more times before Thursday.
Well, James was saying, like, he can't personally wait to hear the crowd yell the chorus back at him. If Darkness Had a Sun, here I am. Like, he's like, it's the perfect, like, that long phrase is like just the perfect thing. He's so excited. Number 7, Welcome Home Sanitarium.
Been a minute.
Not
Another
that long,
great
because
song.
There's no note here, but it's been enough time. They
did not play it. They did not play it the last time I saw them. It is not on Webster Hall, as far as I know.
Yeah, and similar to Blackened from the last show, they did play the entire version. A lot of times they'll play
Battery.
Oh, sorry, Battery. A lot of times they'll just stop in the middle of some of these songs, and they used to do it with Master, where they didn't play the whole middle of Master.
Right, yeah,
very upsetting.
I hated that. What's the point?
Same. Don't bother. Yeah, but I get it. Number 8, another newbie, live debut of You Must Burn! !
Great track. Another great. They're picking out like the best songs on the record to play live. Cannot fault them there.
Same.
Great stuff.
Same. Then, for a change of pace and to slow it way down, The Unforgiven. I don't need this here, but okay. I
I
understand
don't.
why you have to have it. A slow song for Lars, probably.
I don't need the Black Album period anymore. Or you know what? If you're gonna play Black Album shit, that's
Again,
fine.
the deep cuts.
But give me God That Failed. Give
Struggle
me
Within,
no. Give me My
My
Friend of
Friend of
Misery.
Misery,
Give me
Of
something like
Wolf and
that.
Man.
No.
Ah, okay. Well, now that I've played
No,
my
I don't. I
hand,
didn't. I didn't like that song the first time I heard it when it was called Almost Human.
oh, nice.
I said it.
Similar to Unforgiven, Nick's other least favorite song from that album, Wherever I May Roam. But it is a fan favorite. You can't deny.
Why?
They love it. And
It's a fan favorite. Like Fear of the Dark is a fan favorite. It shouldn't be.
I guess. Number 11. And
Dying on this
also
hill.
number 11 and also slow, but finally an And Justice for All song,
Yay!
Harvester of Sorrow.
Great track. Love
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I love that one. Number 12. We're almost at the end. Number 12. Finally, a Hardwired song, Moth into Flame.
Not my favorite song off Hardwired, but
It's also like, again, it's the Pyro song, so it's a good excuse.
yeah, it's a pyro song. It's a big deal song. They played it live, sort of, with Lady Gaga.
Yeah, that one still hurts. Where they introduced Lady Gaga and some other guys, not actually Lady Gaga with Metallica or the verse vice. Speaking of fire and flames, fight fire with fire.
Deep Cut. Haven't heard them play this one live. Every time I've seen them, not really one of my favorite songs. It's one of those opening thunderclap speedsters. And if you're looking at the three, it starts off with the slow acoustic bit and then goes into the super fast. They did that song 3 albums in a row. Lightning, Master Justice, we all know. Fight, Battery, Blackened. This is the worst one of the bunch. Would rather have Blackened.
Indeed. As I predicted they were going to do this song. Whiskey in the Jar. However, at the beginning of Whiskey in the Jar, they jammed the Outlaw Torn for a minute. Right. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, again, if you're gonna do deep cuts, man, get them deep. Cut me deep. And if you do the Outlaw Torn, oh yeah, that's a.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I would have liked it, but Whiskey in the Jar.
I love Whiskey in the Jar. I know you're gonna
always hear Whiskey in the Jar. At least at one of these shows, it's gonna be hard for them to leave it out. And then
would rather have Outlaw Torn
to close out the show. Back to back, belly to belly. Again, seems like there was no encore. They just stay out there and play, but they take enough breaks. I'm personally glad. Seems like the Doodle is retired. The jam, the Kirk and Robert jam. Thank you. It's about time. Number 15 in the track list. Live, 1 thumbs up.
Thank you.
Always want it. Never not want it. It is
their one is album. One of their one is up there with For Whom the Bell Tolls for me, and one of their absolute perfect tracks.
And then finally, Enter Sandman.
And finally, the time to make your way out the doors.
That's usually my cue to leave. So
while they're playing an 8-minute version of Enter Sandman, followed by 6 minutes of this is how it was when I saw him last time, followed by 6 minutes of them posing with guitar picks that says St. Louis on them.
What do you think of that set list? No, so now we have no Death Magnetic.
We had one Death Magnetic song between both nights, which was The Day That Never Comes.
The Day That Never Comes, which
good track, not a standout. It's not a standout track from that album, in my opinion.
And Welcome Home from Master. Not bad.
Go ahead and read the set list off again, and I'm gonna do a quick count as we do it.
Really quick. Well, I mean, like I can just go to here. I have it literally here on Setlist FM. They do it for you. 72 seasons, 3 songs.
Okay.
Black Album, 3 songs.
That's not what I'm doing a count of. I'm doing a count of how many of these songs are going to be new to me when I see them.
Okay, fine. Call of Cthulhu. Definitely You've never heard it. Creeping Death, you've heard. Yeah. Leper Messiah, maybe.
New.
Until It Sleeps.
No.
72 Seasons.
New.
Darkness Had a Sun.
New.
Welcome Home.
No.
You Must Burn.
New.
Unforgiven.
No.
Rome.
No.
Harvester.
No.
Moth into a Flame.
No.
Fight Fire with Fire.
Yes.
Whiskey,
Yes.
and 1 in Sandman. You've heard those.
So 7 out of 8 or 7 out of 14?
16.
16? It's actually a pretty good ratio if you
And
think
then
about
let's
it.
just really quickly, again, 72 seasons, 3 songs. Metallica Black Album, 3 songs. Ride the Lightning, 3 songs. Justice got 2, finally. Master, 2. Hardwired 1, Load 1, I guess they're counting a little.
No reload on this one.
No reload, and 1 cover. So that's a pretty diverse set list for that night. And then if you factor in the first night, there's still a whole list of stuff they didn't play. You would be glad to hear if there was, whatever the next show is.
It's going to be interesting as this tour goes on, and I don't want to spend too much more time on this, just because we could spend an hour unpacking this.
We could,
and we probably will at some point again on IM, but it's a cool set list. They're definitely doing some stuff. The one thing, my big complaint is I'm seeing a lot of moving into heritage veteran band territory. One of the things that Iron Maiden does that I really hate is they don't play anything past Fear of the Dark, except for their new record. They skip most of everything else in order to play the same songs we've heard a squillion times. Metallica, there's a lot of great songs on Load, Reload, Death Magnetic, and you're really, I feel like you're ignoring this too much.
There's 20 something more weekends of this, so
we'll see if it changes or stays the same. I think based on Lars's reaction on Jimmy Kimmel, I don't think it's going to be a static set list. I think they're going to be changing it up quite a bit. He seemed very nervous about this.
I love it. He definitely is going to be. There's definitely going to be some nights where he might be overmatched. Let us just quickly go to the final news point, and I promise to keep it to 90 seconds. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced their inductees today. We have to talk about this.
Have to.
Rage Against the Machine, congratulations. Finally got in. Should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. Nick and I did an extensive whole news piece on this before. You're either in or you're not. There shouldn't, if you have to argue for someone, a case for someone to get in, there's no case. They should not be in.
I will say this, it's the same thing that it is about the sports Hall of Fames, the Halls of Fame. If you can tell the story without that band, they don't belong in. And I don't think you can tell the story of music in the 90s without Rage Against the Machine.
You cannot. And so just, for other people who got in, Willie Nelson, Missy Elliott, DJ Kool Herc, who helped invent rap.
I'm sorry, Missy Elliott is still...
Well, I mean, she is arguably the biggest selling female rapper of all time, and she's also produced a string of number ones for other people.
All right.
I'm not so mad about her getting in. I know people that do not like her. I don't care about, Willie is 89. He's not going to be around much longer, so I think it's just like Dolly.
90, actually.
Let's put him in. Yeah, he just turned 90. Let's put him in. The Spinners, I guess. Are you going to put every single group of that stripe in the Hall of Fame? But worse than anything else, right? No Iron Maiden and no Soundgarden again. And I'm going to go here. Kate Bush, I love you. And thanks to Stranger Things, Running Up That Hill got, millions of streams, and good for her. Is Kate Bush an automatic Hall of Fame talent or career? No.
I can tell the story of her decade without her.
Yeah,
because I don't know what decade she's from.
The 80s. And the other song, and the late 70s. And the other song, the second most song she's famous for is the backup vocal on Peter Gabriel's Don't Give Up, which is not even a huge hit for him.
Oh, Peter Gabriel's solo stuff sucks anyway. So.
Oh, that's mean.
I said it.
We're going to fight, bro.
Anyway.
But wait, there's more.
There's
more. There's more.
Up.
Sheryl Crow. There's no one on earth who will convince me she belongs in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry.
Local girl makes good. She taught school in the Rockwood School District just down the road for me a piece. But what the hell? No.
Yeah, George Michael is in. I love George Michael, one of the best singers ever. Not going to argue with him.
No argument there.
Immensely talented. Sheryl Crow and Kate Bush do not belong in a Hall of Fame, especially when Iron Maiden and Soundgarden are on the ballot. And Chris Cornell is dead and did not even get a sympathy vote. Come on.
Again, cannot tell the story. You can tell the story of music in the 90s without Sheryl Crow.
You sure can.
She had a couple.
I've seen
She
her
had a
live
couple major
twice.
hits, a couple minor hits. Very talented, very wonderful, great human
Yeah.
being.
Yeah, Link Ray got in.
However, Hollow Very Good. Hollow Very Good is where she tops out for me.
Yeah, Link Ray, musical
I
influence.
feel like
People
Hootie and the Blowfish going in.
they could, right?
I know, but
They
that's
should
what it
not.
is.
They should
Shouldn't,
not.
but that's what it is.
And then Musical Excellence Award, which is the award that Priest got in for last year.
Used to
Still
be
in
the
the
Sidemen Award.
yeah, musical excellence. Shaka Khan, one of the top 5 R&B singers of all time. No arguments. Al Cooper, no arguments. And Bernie Taupin, no arguments. Has to be in.
If you don't love, okay, if you love the Doors and you wish there was one more record, check out Super Session.
Yeah, Cooper.
Al Cooper, Mike Bloomfield,
Yeah,
and Steven Stills.
not only was he an influential band member, he also then turned around and produced a bunch of other bands. Yeah. And then also this award needs a name change. Goes to the Ahmet Erdogan Award. Ooh. To Don Cornelius of Soul Train, who
isn't he dead?
He might be. Yeah, he might be passed. But like, no, Ahmet needs the. They need to.
Yeah,
change, they need to take the award away from that name. Like he's a pervy, gropey, rapey guy. Like he cannot have an award named for him. I know Led Zeppelin, Atlantic Records, Queen. He's responsible for all that.
I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. Let's keep moving forward.
So anyway,
I'm going to say
that's about it. I'm going to leave out any other news because we need to get this show on the road. But just like happy for George Michael, happy for Rage Against the Machine. Head scratcher, and then just right before we went on here today, the CFO or the CEO of the Hall of Fame says, I think Maiden will get voted in eventually. Eat the whole bag of dicks, bro. That's what I have to say. I don't care if we get banned. That's it. Eat a whole bag of dicks.
You know what? Iron Maiden is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
There's not even we shouldn't even be having this conversation. And frankly, so is Soundgarden. If Cordell was still alive,
this is Pierre Turgeon being held out of the NHL Hall of Fame level bullshit.
I agree.
Pierre Turgeon's only not in because he didn't leave during a bench clearing brawl when he was 17, for the record.
That's wild. But hockey is one of those sports where like the hockey writers also hate hockey. That's just my opinion.
Well, no, everybody hates what they love. Nobody, today I was telling one of my coworkers, nobody hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans.
And tomorrow but nobody hates the 4th.
But nobody hates Metallica like Metallica fans. Me, I'm one of those guys that actually loves the things I love. Except for anyway. Moving on. Let us get to
except for the district attorney of St. Louis, according to Nick's tweets.
I never loved her.
Nick's rage tweets every day.
Turns out, yes, I am obsessed. I've got a lot of personal reasons that I will leave alone. But she turns out she has broken the law and she's been in a graduate school as circuit attorney, which is against Missouri statute. So she also has a trial to be removed. Good luck. Good luck. I am enjoying that, Anyway, no. Yes, I do rage tweet about her. Anyway, so Def Leppard goes on the High and Dry tour. We're going to pick up there. They were opening for someone. I don't know whom, and I can't seem to find it quickly because I'm unprepared. They played 9 tracks, typically. On Through the Night, It Could Be You, It Don't Matter, Another Hit and Run, Lady Strange, Rock Brigade, High and Dry, Saturday Night, Let It Go, and Wasted. Frankly, I agree with that last track. This set list is a little bit wasted. They don't play the greatest song that they may have ever recorded, which is, of course, Bringing on the Heartbreak.
They might have got sick of playing it, though, because, again,
this is average set list.
Really? But I also feel like there's a thing, right? So we just went through the Metallica set list, right?
Yeah.
And those guys have played Enter Sandman like 1,000,000 times in 30 years.
They still play it.
Well, not every night, though. They didn't play
much to my chagrin.
They didn't play it night one. This is probably why they're doing the no repeats is as much for them as it is for the fans. And I did watch a James and Kirk interview where he was like, oh, people will go to both. And it's like, maybe.
Will they?
Maybe. Not in the Def Leppard tour in 1983.
Right. So, yeah, it's just not.
Or 82, whatever it was.
If they played it, it was an outlier.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. And then they now have a hit record and a successful record. And we did talk about the squiffiness of the
High and
second record
Dry.
last week. High and Dry's a squiffy, half squiffy record, to be
Yeah,
honest.
it is. It's
Got some
got some
filler.
super highs, and nothing is offensively bad.
No,
A
it's
lot of super
just
high highs, and then it just falls down.
right.
And so far in their first two records, maybe this is foreshadowing, maybe it's not. Def Leppard has yet to track a record well, and they
You
have
think
yet.
so?
I'm sorry.
You think so?
Do you think
What
they have tracked either of these two records well?
like
The
what
tracking.
is your criteria? We're not talking about mastering the best musicians in the world here. We're
No, I'm
talking
talking
about
about starting strong and finishing each side
the
strong.
sequencing.
Yeah,
Sorry. When you say
tracking.
tracked a record, I'm thinking of the playing. Like the performance is bad.
No.
You mean the
Just
sequencing of the
this
albums.
the track list, setting up a
The
track list.
sequencing is
Yes.
poor. Yes, sir.
Yeah, the order of the songs.
Yeah, I would have moved some of those things around, and especially the second half of High and Dry is super weak. And
Yeah,
I would have shared that love of those strong. But also like we're in a different age, and we still listen to albums. And you used to front load your albums or backload your albums. You never did like, oh, you know what? There's only 4 good ones on this 16 track record. Let's space them out. And usually they would either put them all on the front or all in the back to make you listen all the way through. That was a strategy, right, to get you to
see, but if
listen.
you do 1, 4, 5, 10, if
Yeah,
you put your heavy hitters there, you got to listen to the whole thing.
I
It's a
think
better
so too.
situation.
And nobody really moves the needle around except real aficionado nerds.
Dude,
Most people just
I
put it
listen
on
to
and
LPs just to so I don't have to get up.
yeah,
People
exactly.
are like, "Do you want 45s?" No.
Yeah.
No, I do not. I have to get up and change each one after
Yeah.
each
And
song.
any of these 4 LP double sets that I have are annoying because I'm getting up every 10 minutes to switch them. Tool, I'm
I
looking at
uh
you.
I think part of why I stopped playing online video games because all of a sudden, we're fighting a monster and my guy just stops for 30 seconds while I have to change records.
Yeah.
But so what do they do next? They go back to the L Studio, which is the Smart Play.
Mhm.
Who produces this one? Keefy?
Again, Mutt Lange.
Oh, there is an E there.
It's pronounced with it's technically, I think he Americanized it and
No, I mean
started.
there is an E right there.
Okay. Well, he started spelling it Lang, but also like he's a German guy who's as a child moved to Australia, so the pronunciation is Lenge.
Oh God.
But that's according to not me. They go back to the well with Mutt because why not? And he's also the hottest producer in the rock world right now, not named Ted Templeman or
Good
Eddie
luck getting
Kramer
him or Bob Ezrin.
or Bob Ezrin or Eddie
Although Bob
Kramer.
Ezrin has just come off of
Yeah,
Music from the Elder
yeah,
with
Bob Ezrin
Kiss.
is crying in the darkened corner of his basement in Connecticut with a Scarface pile of
No,
blow.
Toronto. He was in
Sorry.
Toronto at the
Yeah,
time.
I think he had a place in Connecticut because he moved to be near Ace or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so yeah,
He was
yes,
full of sads at that in
lots.
1983.
So yeah, Mutt is man, I feel bad for Bob Ezrin because all the hits he had just come off of. I mean, he had just
Kiss almost
crushed
killed
the
his
world.
career. Kiss
He,
single-handedly almost killed his whole career.
after no, it was his fault though. It was his idea to do that record. That was him. It was all him.
Go back
And
and listen to
Gene
our
went,
episode on it.
and Gene went, yeah. And Paul went, and Ace went, no. And they went, well, Ace
Yeah,
says no, we definitely doing
definitely
it.
gonna do it right.
So anyway, but yeah, he did Alice Cooper, Pink Floyd, Kiss, and he's just crushing the world. And then he does that. Okay.
Lucky had those residuals coming in and points on records and stuff like that. So yeah, they go back to Mutt, and Mutt has 2 records in a row with AC/DC at this time, also in between this Leppard record, and I think he did a few other things. But Back in Black is unbelievably, came out about the same time as On Through the Night.
Yeah.
Back in Black is one of the greatest albums ever, greatest rock records ever. Whether Bond had died or not, they were already writing that record when Bond died.
I don't think Bond's death is what caused that record to be
No, it's incredible, right? It's their best record.
It's their zenith.
It's the
it's
top.
their absolute zenith.
That's a whole nother run of records we could or could not do. And so, the things that Mutt brought to that band on top of the incredible songs and Brian giving them a little jolt of Brianness Not the most talented vocal guy.
Oh,
but
we kind of hang on. We skipped something. Who's in the band?
Well, Pete is kicked out. We talked about that last week. That Pete
Did
was
we?
getting
Oh,
kicked out. We said that Pete's on his way out
yeah.
for drinking too much in Def Leppard. Kind of like getting kicked out of the Chili Peppers for doing too much heroin by Flea and Kiedis. Like what? Or Dave getting kicked out of Metallica because he drank too much. But yeah, Pete is kicked out, and they bring in Pete's immediate replacement. They had him waiting. I suspect it was planned, like an
You
assassination.
think that was Dead Man's Boots?
Yeah, Dead Man Walking. Phil Collin, not to be confused with Phil Collins, no relation. Both blonde British guys. And Phil Collin, if you want a fun journey, follow Phil Collin on Instagram and check out his fitness posts. Because the dude is like 60 and he's built like a brick shit house.
I wish he would wear a shirt in concert.
He should
because
wear
you're 60.
shirts, but he does have like a 12-pack of abs or something. So
I understand why he doesn't, but I wish that he would.
Yeah, he's
he
great
looks
though.
a little like a sausage now.
And he's a little different than Pete and Steve, who are similar stripey guitarists. Mm-hmm. And Phil is so good and so technical as a shredder. He literally is a shredding guitar player that Steve just kind of retreats back to just doing rhythm and an occasional lead and a harmony. Phil can play anything with a blindfold, one arm, and just a pinky. He's an amazing guitar player. But I don't think that he has like an impact as a writer that much. I have to really double check that.
I would believe they probably had this mostly written by the time
yeah, I think they were like, this is the thing we discussed in a few other. Yeah, literally no writing credits on this whole album. We had a thing where we talked.
Pete Willis has more writing credits than him on this record.
Yeah, well,
yes, it was written before he got.
It was probably written. A lot of bands used to like have their year planned out for them in advance by management and the label. So like Maiden would be already writing the next record while the new one is being mastered and ready to come out and pressed. You already had material. That's why Maiden has all those singles in between albums, because their stuff was so good. They're like, we have to put this out. We can't sit on Twilight Zone for 2 years. No, this has to be out now. So I'm going to let you take over with the track listing, and we'll do the opposite of what we did last week, where you read the tracks and I can give my thoughts. And if you want, or you can just do it, whatever you want to do.
I'll give my thoughts on each track going forward. I listened to this twice today. Unfortunately, I apologize. I did not get to listen to this one on vinyl because I actually have not spun a record at home since Sunday, and it's Wednesday.
Terrible. What's going on?
Been busy.
Yeah,
they've been too busy.
You didn't almost not get killed this week, so that's a good thing.
Correct. I did not almost get killed this week, which is nice.
Really positive.
But that way. Before we get into the track by track, I just wanted to say I always envisioned the separation of Def Leppard after this record. That after this record, there is a cleaving, no pun intended, seriously, of the sound. And I'm going to say I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely wrong on this.
This is the record.
There is a cleaving.
It's before this.
But it's right before this. Because once Steve Willis leaves, the Steve Clark experiment. What did I say? Did I say Steve?
Steve, yeah. Pete Willis, balls. Steve Clark. That's okay.
Once Willie with the curlies. That's really rude. Once Pete Willis is out of the band, he had curly hair in the movie.
Rock Hall of Famer Pete Willis, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer.
Once he is out of the band, it changes, and the drums also significantly change. I don't know if he went to the electronic drums, but he sure as hell sounds like it.
Well, here's that. Remember back to our series on Robert Plant, and remember our long segue about Phil Collins, no relation to Phil Collin.
Correct.
Because of In the Air Tonight, and because of other things, the gated drum sound is dominating.
Wet drum sound.
The gated drums, the wet bass and wet drums, the echo and reverb that kind of pans left to right, dominates all of pop music and rock music at this time, from like 83 to 90 until the drums go dry again. And it was probably Phil Collins who brought it back to full circle when he did But Seriously. And so shout out to that record, which is a gem.
I'm gonna give a big thank you to Dave Grohl for his completely dry drum sound on Smells Like Teen Spirit. And all of a sudden, the affected drums, it was gone. It was just gone in an instant.
I'm pretty sure it was Butch Vig who had that idea, because it was also an indie rock staple to have like no production and no effects and no.
Oh, there you go.
stuff later on. But I'll give it to Dave. We'll give it to Dave. I don't think he had anything to do with the sound, but his playing is sure baller.
Oh yeah.
So they go in. Yeah, Pete is out. Phil is in. They had this record pretty much written, and then basically, I don't know why they didn't do it a record before this. I'm kind of glad they didn't, but in a way, maybe it would have made that record better. All the things, not only trendy, but also like whatever were. Hey, Mutt, those things you did for AC/DC on those two records, could we do them on our record? I'm sure that conversation happened with
Well,
somebody.
it's also worth pointing out that we are now in 1983. And in 1983, the world had changed. Why?
Thriller.
Well, before Thriller.
I just love it's the only thing I think of with that year. Is
Quiet
Thriller.
Riot and Motley Crue had broken.
That's fair.
And
And
once
Kill 'Em
those,
All.
I
Not
love
in,
Kill 'Em All.
no impact on the industry at large, but on rock.
Correct.
At this point, Def Leppard, outside of this first track we're about to talk about, is no longer a heavy metal band. They are firmly a hard rock band.
I would call them glam rock or hair metal.
Glam rock, hair metal, but really, they're not that glammy. They're like in the vein of AC/DC. They're trying hard to write AC/DC style songs. I think it's apparent.
Missed that, but
I don't agree. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk. But they are clearly into the zeitgeist. They jumped on the trend the moment I mean, I don't know how this worked. If Quiet Riot comes out, Motley Crue comes out, because all of a sudden the choruses are big. The drums are affected. They jumped both feet into this sound. So every record, their sound has changed while staying on brand. So kudos to them for that. That is something Rush has done better than anyone ever, except Geddy Lee should not rap. Hard take or hot take, I know. But moving forward, let us do the track by track. We start off with Rock Till You Drop. Jesus Christ, drop this from the record. Not necessary.
Already, Nick is on fire.
Am I wrong?
I never thought about this song in a long time until I went to start listening to this record over the weekend.
Exactly.
And it is arguably the worst song on the record.
No, actually, no, it is not. No, it is not.
It's almost.
No, it's not even the worst song on this side.
There's a soft underbelly. It's at the end, but it's not the worst. It's very stock.
No, you're right. It's not the worst. There's worse coming today.
Soon. And by the way, Mutt also is flexing because he has a lot of co-writes on this. So weirdly, has a lot of co-writes. So I'm telling you, like, they had most of it written. Mutt changed these songs
and got her credit
to fit a blueprint,
right?
That he did on Back in Black. All these songs have like the similar riff, the burbling bass, very high vocals, like there's very little middle range from Joe. It's really shocking. But yeah, not a good song. Not that good a song. Sorry.
Let's move on to track 2. Photograph. Now, if you can say one negative thing about Photograph, I hate you and you kill puppies.
Photograph is arguably the best Def Leppard song. I'll go there. Like by itself. It's not the most popular hit they have, but it is one of their best songs. Easily a top 5 Def Leppard song ever.
It is not as good as Bring On the Heartbreak.
It's a love song. League. It's a better song than that.
It is not in the same ballpark. It's not in the same league. It's not the same fucking sport.
All right, buddy.
I said I'm sorry. I wanted to get that one in.
Okay. It's a great song. It's the best song on here, despite what other people think.
Agreed.
It's not as big a hit as their other ones, but this is a great song. And if they only had done this, they could have stopped here and it'd still be a pretty solid record.
2 songs?
Just this song. This song carries the whole side and maybe.
All right. Moving on to Stage Fright. Wow. Okay.
I wish they wouldn't have.
There's a lot to unpack here.
They had nothing to talk about, and this is just what happened. Like, we don't have a song's not horrible. The lyrics and the I don't know what this just not
lyrics are. He sings about the show must go on. You got to be strong. Wow, bro. Is this like your daily affirmation before you go out there?
Not inspiring, bro.
That is probably not songwriting material. Moving on. Too Late for Love. It had Bring It On the Heartbreak never existed. This song's amazing. However, They hit the Xerox button.
They did. I have thoughts. So if you are a fan of Def Leppard from the beginning to now, and you don't like the ballads, this is the point in their career you could, because even Bringing on the Heartbreak is more hard rock than this. This is truly the blueprint for the Def Leppard ballad forever after this. The blueprint. I will tell you that Joe sings the crap out of this song.
Oh yeah,
wonderfully. And it's not a bad song. It was a single
after the song it was copying. That's the
problem. It was a single. It's a good song, but literally this is the inflection point where there's a whole half of their career that blows, and it's this song's fault.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, when it works, what do? You do it again.
You do it again.
All right, let's move on to Jesus. Oh. Die Hard is the Hunter to close out side 1. The best part about this song is it's absolutely terrible. The worst part about this song is it's over 6 minutes long. So
I always thought this was a cover, but it is not a cover. It is an original.
Does it matter?
It's not a good song.
No.
This is like this would have been a substandard Led Zeppelin song. Jimmy Page would have been like, no, not that one.
This would not have made On Through the Night.
No. I love that record. It would not.
No. And that's my least favorite record of the ones we've done thus far.
I know.
Flip that record onto Foolin'. Here we go. Top 10 Def Leppard track. Classic. Iconic. And I don't use that word lightly. Everyone knows that. No notes. This is Def Leppard perfection.
And almost a step back to heavy metal, a slight step back to a hard rock and heavy metal song. I love the guitar work on this.
Yes, this is the first song off of Hysteria. I said it.
I know what you mean. I hate that analogy, but I know what you mean when you use it. It's fine. I'll allow it.
This is the direction they go into.
The success of the next two songs is the reason Hysteria happens, but there we just shot our load early. But go ahead.
Next,
I've been premature on occasion. It's okay.
Rock of Ages. Man, I always thought that song was. Who does?
Nick, you hate this song.
I do.
You said last week, like, "Oh my god,
I don't hate this song.
F terrible, blah blah blah."
No, I did not.
I thought you did.
No, no. I love this song. This is like my first Def Leppard song.
You know what you said? You hate the beginning, the gloopen, glauben, gloopen, gloopen.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely terribly stupid. Eaten, gleeten, gluten, globe. I mean, seriously, you're just throwing words.
It was gibberish. It was Mutt's idea, which is maybe even his credit on the song. Let's talk about hysterical. We have to. I'm not lying to you. I think that's his contribution to the song.
That I think that is the greatest thing I've ever heard.
And this is their biggest hit of this album. And this is the song that catapulted them into everybody's living rooms on MTV because this was their first music video.
For us in St. Louis, it was on Friday Night Videos.
I love Friday Night Videos. As well,
we didn't have MTV for it yet. We didn't have. MTV
I didn't have MTV for
84, 85.
Here's another thing about Foolin' and Rock of Ages. Even though I think they're both great songs, there's a lot of cliched lyrics and little callbacks to rock history that the band then leans on going forward. And I don't know if this is Joe personally or anyone else, but it's also it goes 100% too hard on the next record.
Yeah.
To have an occasional like a quote of something that sounds like a song is fine. It's actually very British to do this. Yeah. But to start like hardcore, copying song, to be quoting like legendary song lyrics is dumb.
I am gonna quote a very, very wise
Oasis.
I'm gonna quote a very wise, very erudite, very knowledgeable gentleman who said recently about Def Leppard, if you are looking for a band with deep lyrics, this ain't it.
Are you quoting yourself?
No, I'm quoting you.
Oh, thanks. I pointed to myself. I was like, did you mean me? I think you meant you.
I was talking.
Yeah.
I can't stop my talking once it starts. It's that. You said that in week one, and they never really write great lyrics. They get very wistful about getting a little stank on their wang doodles in the next record, like very emotionally upset about when they don't have it. So I mean I worry about them a lot but that's as deep as they ever get. Think about, and we'll get to it next week, but just think about the song Animal. The lyrics to Animal. I mean, that was a single.
It is a great. So I love the music
Oh,
of
it
that
is. It
song.
is.
The
It is.
lyrics
It's a
are
great. The lyrics
wretched.
are.
They don't hold
I'm,
up. I listened to it today. It does not hold up.
no, it
Anyway,
does. None of it
Rock
holds
of
up from his
Ages,
lyrics.
great song.
Great
Movie is
song.
terrible, by the way, and just terrible, terrible, terrible. It should not have been a Broadway show. Should not have been a movie.
I wanted to like the Broadway play, but the music was terrible.
Yes, not good.
Moving on to the soft underbelly of the record.
Let's make it quick and
If
merciless.
you are on vinyl, just hit cut now. Coming Under Fire, no
Just turn it
recollection. Who cares? Action, Not Words, best of the three, still awful. Billy's Got a Gun. I don't know that this song even existed because I don't remember it. And I listened to this record
I
twice.
also don't remember. I'm pretty sure.
And you remember songs. I don't.
I'm pretty sure going back to like 1984, I graduated elementary school. I was 12 years old. And I'm pretty sure in my house, when this record was played to death,
Pretty sure.
we never listened past Rock of Ages. I'm pretty sure that's when the record came off and something better went on, like Van Halen.
Correct. I mean,
or an
if
older
you
Kiss
listen to
record.
the last three tracks of this record, it is a waste of 14
It
minutes.
almost kills the record. It's lucky it doesn't. It's lucky that they're so strong on those hits and a couple of other songs. These three songs would almost sink any other record if this thing wasn't so full of hits.
Yeah, correct. Let me sum this bastard up.
Sum this summer bitch up.
Mutt Lange, each time he works with Def Leppard, he requires more and more quality. And that's great. He wants hits, he wants singles, he wants points. As Keefy mentioned, Mutt has credits all over this thing. Mutt has he's finger fudging the whole record. Every single has got a Mutt Lange co-write. So why does he want more co-writing? Why does he want more hit singles? Well, that's where the money is. You don't make your money from royalties in terms of music. You make your money on publishing. So Rock of Ages is still played 875 times a day in America. If he gets 1 penny per play, it's $9 a day. And that's one song. We haven't even gotten to Pour Some Sugar on Me yet. We'll get to that next week. And the problem is he gets these singles and he throws down the gold nuggets and then he kicks in the pennies to go, and he's basically surrounding these gold nuggets with pennies.
Luckily, on the next record, it's the most complete record they ever made, in my opinion. Just a spoiler alert early. But I think that's understood. I think everybody understands that the next record's their best record. But like this is their second best record. I do not like High and Dry as much as I like On to the Night. Nick is an opposite. We'll do the ranking at the end. But like,
yeah,
it's tough. Like let's say they never did Hysteria. Or they did Hysteria and it wasn't so OP on all the things, the harmonies and the AC/DC-isms. What if they made just another Pyromania? And Rock of Ages, by the way, is Rock of Ages the title track because the lyric Pyromania is in it? I don't know. These guys know how to write a chorus. Mutt knows how to make them write a better chorus. Joe sings the hell out of this album. This is a really
I think that's
good,
what sells Def
occasionally
Leppard.
great album.
I think Joe Elliott is what sells Def Leppard. Phil Collins, Steve Clark, Pete Willis, all great guitar players. Love them to death. But you know what? I can name you 50 other players that are 20 times better than them that were on the street in Los Angeles playing, we'll play pentatonic for money. And so it's easy to find those. It's hard to find somebody like Joe Elliott, like Kevin DuBrow, that can really sing the crap out of something.
And I will say this is the record where the rest of the guys become competent backup singers and are able to harmonize.
The choruses are huge. And
the gang vocals.
This is probably the first giant, major, huge gang vocal record.
Well, beside Quiet Riot, which we talked about in the
Quiet Riot's doing it, but Quiet Riot's doing it with two dudes.
Well, because Quiet Riot did it and did it so hard, not only did it change the rest of their career, every band tried to copy them doing it.
And this Quiet Riot started it,
except Crew because they can't sing at all.
Well, they still tried it though, and they tried. It's there. The gang vocals are there. It's just awful. But Def Leppard was able to do it huge with 18 dudes Basically, everybody up there is getting behind a microphone. They're singing it large, and they didn't do Joe Elliott singing all the vocals, making it sound fake and plastic. They had them actually singing their backup vocals, and I think that is something that is lost to the ages. And it's a very rare gem, which should not be so rare. And because of that, the choruses are bigger, the choruses are more vibrant, the choruses are hookier, they're catchier. And I think I've got Action Not Words still stuck in my heel from when I listened to it earlier today because I stepped on it and I just can't get it out of my foot. It's that hooky. And that song is terrible.
Is it a gem for the rock of ages?
No, it's a poke in the dick with a letter opener, really.
It's all fun and games till you get poked in the eye with a sharp stick, my friend.
Always. So
I think it
Def
is my
Leppard
turn.
has I will say this final thing and then I will shut my yapper. Def Leppard and Mutt Lange have created a pattern. The pattern is there, the template is there. It's how to print money.
Yo, for real. Why didn't we all pay attention to this? We would be so rich.
Seriously.
And with that, you have been listening to the Glacially Musical Pouredcast. I am the co-host, Ghost Cult Keefy. You can follow me at Ghost Cult Mag and at Ghost Cult Keefy on most social medias. You know your host, Nick, the man, the myth, the legend, all above and below the waist from the Glacially Musical Pouredcast.
Here at a couple dozen.
This is the happiest hour of my whole week. It's middling after this, but thank you for listening. If you have, please give us a like, a follow, a comment, a review on any of your podcast networks. YouTube has podcasts now. We are an official YouTube podcast as of the last few episodes. So please check all that out. Maybe go backward and check out some of our other series and leave us some comments. We'd read them all. And with that said,
I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in real quick. We have series on every band you love. It
so
might
far,
be weird times, but it's there.
yeah, it's there. And so, as we take it home, this has been the Glacially Musical Podcast. And I want to say no justice, no peace for Soundgarden and Iron Maiden.